So a couple of disclaimers. I definitely cannot say I have a ton of truly high level experience against all these characters. I definitely have played against all of the characters, though. I will try to do my best to explain why I feel the way I do about a bunch of stuff. And I don't know. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't agree. I don't know. This is just how I feel. That's it, right? Right? I guess I should put like, okay, right? And then this is nothing. So the best way that I would break this down is feels good is exactly what it sounds like. So feels good is like, I just definitely feel it's some type of advantage, either 5.5 or 6.4. No, like certain number, just like I definitely think she wins, right? Then evenish means I think either it's even or it's 0.5 either way. So it could be like 0.5 in advantage for Millia or 0.5 advantage for the other character. I'm not really sure. It just depends how like things can go in the matchup. Then feels meh is like definitely feels disadvantage, maybe going to 6.4 for the other character. And then counterpick means counterpick means counterpick, right? Like so let me do this again. This might actually even look different than yesterday's that I posted in Discord, but hey. May is special. May is actually probably here now. To be honest, I just think I'm really good at it. This is it? Yeah, I guess this is it. Pot is either this. It's either this or this. It's one of the. That's why I wanted to use evenish, because like pot, I'm like maybe it's even, but I should play shine some and like really let's shine along set and get like a really good feel for it. Because all the Potemkins I played so far, I felt like pretty comfortable. You know. That's what I mean by like even-ish, right? Like when I think even-ish, I think even or plus 0.5 or minus 0.5, because I think it's a little early for me to have like hard thoughts, but I also think my explanation of even-ish is a little vague. Like, so I think this is probably better. This is probably better, right? That's how I feel. To the best of my ability. So I will go from the top down, I guess, from best to worst. So Axel is basically the same matchup, except Millia has way more threat in almost all situations. So he still has like the same problems, but Millia gets to mix up way more often. She does more damage more consistently. She gets to convert more often. Her pressure is better. Like everything is better, and like he's kind of the same, So I have a pretty good outlook on that match. Kind of the same thing. Like she got some new stuff, but like it's still essentially the same matchup, but Millia converts way better, which I think is a huge factor, and her offense is better, which I think is a huge factor. Below Lex, thank you so much for the tier 1, man. Thanks so much. I always thought that Millia already beat Ino in neutral. And Ino's main threat was always like if she catches Millia, you die, and her normals were really good, and it was kind of hard to whip punish Ino. But in this version, it's much easier to do it from the air than before, so I have a pretty good outlook on that, right? For plus 0.5, Testament is way better. I feel it playing against them and playing as them, because I've been playing a lot of Testament. But basically, Millia is it's just really hard to pin down Millia with Testament. Testament is better at being in their advantage situation, though, than before, slightly, in my opinion. But then Millia's neutral is slightly better, so even though they're both better at the stuff they all want to do, I basically think the matchup is the same. You know, like it's just they're both better at the same time. So I thought last patch was 0.5 plus 0.5 for Millia. So this time I think again, it's still kind of like that. Faust is sort of like that. Honestly, like I low-key think Faust might be even and not slight Millia favor, but like Millia is just really, really fast, so it's not often he gets to meme you with items and stuff. Both characters have better conversion ability. One of the nice things about Millia Faust last time was his conversion ability was kind of cheeks. But now it's more like a classic Millia Faust where like Faust does a lot of damage to her now and stuff like that. But you're still like pretty fast. You can mix him pretty well. His defense is not the best. He has 0 guts, which is really good for you. So once you get that one hit, like it's fine. It's not so bad to deal with. Anji is another one where like I can improve at this matchup, but a really big point is like he can't whiff a lot of stuff without getting punished. He's hard to kill, which kind of sucks, and he does a lot of damage, which kind of sucks. His Oki's like not bad, but it's not like amazing, you know. So it's a lot of like she can play really passively, and she doesn't have to interact that much with spin, which I think is really important. And she has a lot of ways of dealing with his parry super, because she doesn't have to do like safe jumps and stuff, right? Which is kind of nice. Even matchups, so like Mei, I really think Millia wins, but Mei's damage is like the equalizer. So like last patch I thought Mei won, but only because of damage. So I was like, oh, Millia wins like all situations and it's like just really good at navigating Mei, but Mei does so much damage that like who gives a fuck. Where this patch I'm like, well, this time Millia does more damage, has better neutral, has better normals, has better whiff punish, has better follow-ups for stuff, and Mei still does a lot of damage. So with all these buffs from Millia, I'm like, okay, so it's probably like actual true even, but like again, it's still because of damage. So like in my head, I really think Millia wins, but Mei can hit you with 5H and just kill you. So you can never count out Mei, right? Soul is another one. So Soul is another one where I thought it was disadvantaged last time only because of damage, and this time again, like Millia has better footsies, better threat from the air. H disc helps out a lot against him now, and so he still has like the good damage and stuff, but she could already beat him in neutral last patch. It's just that if he hit her one time, you're fucked type energy, and his defense was really good against her last time too. So I think with all the new stuff, the matchup got a lot better. Kyle went from like impossible. Like by the end of the version, I was like, this just cannot be done, right? Like this match is just too fucking hard. So the problem I had with Kyle last patch is that Millia, this is a really common theme for Millia last patch. She has all the tools to fight the character, but none of them lead into combos. So you're not only does your opponent not care about getting hit, but you're helping them get meter, and Millia is bad at building meter at the same time. So Kai has like all these good pokes that all lead into knockdown. He has good anti-air that's really hard to discourage him from doing. Good screen control, blah, 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 right? And while you're able to like engage in neutral with him, you have to use like a lot of S-disc and like raw capel and stuff. Like stuff that doesn't lead into combos. And everything he hits you with leads into a combo. So that made it like really, 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 really hard. But in this version, it's a little bit more even. So like S-disc 1, and then with S-disc 2, by the way, when you hit with it from far, you couldn't even really follow up with anything. So in this version, you definitely can like pull up on them after S-disc. You can threaten with Capel. You have better disjoints. You're better at whip punishing him. It's harder for him to get out of stuff. He's still like everything he does leads in a knockdown, but now you too have way better converts than before also. So that stuff really, 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 really helps. And because she's fast and has good anti-airs, she's really good against his air stalling and air projectiles, which is kind of nice too. Nice little benefit that most characters don't have. Chip, I thought this was end of the road last patch. So far, I have felt pretty good about. Still stressful, but like pretty good about this. It's one I want to practice a lot more because you have to be ready for Chip Xanath. All the buffs just help Millia a lot, and Chip hasn't really changed that much. Like he didn't get a lot of changes compared to her. Again, just like better normals. Disjoint on JS actually really helps air vs air against him, because sometimes air vs air was inconsistent against him last patch. Better 2K, better H-Disc, more consistent damage. There are timelines where you can 2-touch him because of your added offense as well. So even though his stuff is really good, her stuff lines up a little bit more against him. Also, her defense is much better against him than it used to be, because 2K is bigger now. So 2K is like Geo's kind of now, and then 2P is 4 frames. So she forces him to take more risks with Rekka pressure than last patch, which is pretty nice. Then Jacko, I really hate this character, but this match is pretty even. I'm gonna keep it real. If Jacko touches you, you die. If you touch Jacko, she dies. And one really nice thing that Millia has that some other characters don't is that she is able to choose to not engage with Jacko's normals, so that Jacko's non-kick normals. So that means Millia can choose to just not fight 5K and 2K all the time. Said that wrong. Millia can choose to not fight 5H and sweep all the time. So Jacko will have to use 5K, 2K more often, which are still really good moves, but it's less. You have a less chance of getting memed if you block those things. If she does like 5H or sweep, then it's really easy to whip punish with Millia, which is really nice. And Jacko can choose to do more like mid-screen or 2/3 screen away minions, but Millia is really fast, so she can like pull up on her. But if Jacko gets started, it just snowballs really fast. If Millia gets started, it snowballs really fast because Jacko's defense is not that good. So it's a very, very dynamic, I want to say, match that snowballs out of control really, really fast. It's a pretty stressful matchup, I would say. Baiken is similar, where it's like if one person gets started, it's just like over really fast. The new buffed normals from Baiken are pretty hard to deal with, and you have to be really on point. I basically feel like she's like harder Mei to deal with, and like low-key, I feel like this may be like long-term slight disadvantage for Millia, but I need to play it out some more, I think. So then we have like the minus 0.5s, right? So I'll start with Zato. Zato, I'll start with what's good that Millia can do. One, Millia is really good at not engaging with Zato stuff, a lot of Zato stuff. She is really good at fighting opposed. She is pretty good at killing Frog. She is good at whiff punishing him. He has bad defense, which is pretty nice. And he's tall, which means he is vulnerable to a lot of like special offensive sequences that might not work on like say Geo. The bad thing is that she generally has to hit him to like win games, where he doesn't have to like hit her. That's probably like the main rough thing. Like the main rough thing about Zato is like he's able to attack from like safe ranges with like Eddie, and if he makes you block, it's game. Like he's gonna 50-50 you. He does mad damage. His wall break is better than yours. His meter gain is better than yours. So it's probably the first time you're gonna hear me talk about meter and meter economy. Where like so like for example, Testament is really good at building meter, but Millia is really good at moving around the stuff, so it's fine. Zato is just naturally really good at building meter, so it really sucks to be behind on meter against a character, and Millia is not good at building meter. So that's like a huge factor in the match. The good news is again though that it is definitely like a winnable match. It's not like Millia should get smoked by Zato, but you should expect some games to just get rocked. Like it's just natural, you know. Like if they guess on Nobiru, for example, and you block it, like he's just in, you know. Or like if you're in mid range and you backstab and you get hit by Raw Pierce, then you know you get memed. It's stuff like that. So overall, I think Zato has it by a little bit. HC kind of same thing. So Millia with her like new buffs to like normals and stuff. Reflecting H-Disc is not so big of a deal actually, because there's a lot of stuff you could do to stop him from. At last patch, actually, a lot of Millia players came at me for some of the setups I did and stuff to people. They're like, oh, people don't know H-Disc countermeasure. But there's plenty of countermeasures to what people can try to do to Mash. There's a ton of stuff to what people can try to do to Mash. So I never thought it was that bad. Usually the true issue, number one issue in that match, in my opinion, is that he gets his win condition from making you block random stuff from safe ranges. Right. HC is similar. So the good news is you have a lot of like buffed normals to fight him with. Far Slash being buffed helps out so I cannot stress, like new Far Slash helps so much. 6H was always really good against the character too. Now it's better. And then her being fast in general is really nice there. Now the main issues with this match is a couple main issues. One, even though you're fast, since HC is auto zoning, then you're always engaging on Happy Chaos terms, which kind of sucks. I am not a big fan of that. I want this. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that. Two, HC gets hits into full combos all the time. And Millia offense, like block swing offense, is pretty average. So that means that HC isn't incentivized to take risks there, because a successful match can lead into winning, right? Which is pretty stressful. That's probably like the two worst parts about the matchup. It's pretty I call them slash bots. So like, you can legitimately get just 2-touch by slash. Like if you get hit by 2S and they break the wall and they hit you one more time with like 2S or 6S, you just lose. So that is pretty stressful to deal with. So those are probably like the main reasons I think it's tough. The thing is though, she's good at avoiding curse. She is fast, which is nice. So she doesn't have to deal with some of the full screen shot curse like guessing games, because she could just get there. His defense sucks, which is nice too. But I don't think this is a positive matchup for sure. There's no way I could say it's even either. Like just like getting 2-touch like that, like there's no way. And it's not like May where like you just can always command neutral. Like just by him pulling out steady aim, he commands neutral automatically. It'd be like that. Potemkin is basically the same match, except you do more damage and you have better normals than before, and you have better offense than before. So even though he does the same thing to you, which is still bad, you can just interact way better. That's basically the summary of it. This feels meh. This means I feel it's probably either minus 0.5 or like 6-4 in other character's favor. Ram, actually I need to play more. I think it's okay. The one thing that's kind of shitty about versus Ram is you have to take chances on defense, and if you're wrong, you're going to die. And that's not something Millia likes doing. Millia likes getting out on defense by picking like safe shit, and Ram forces you to pick risky shit. And if you're wrong, if you're right, it depends on the character. If you're right, it's pretty good. But if you're wrong, you get deleted. You definitely get deleted. And if you choose to do nothing, then she just keeps doing it. So you have to do something. That's probably like the absolute roughest part of the match. Neutral's better than it used to be. Like Ram players can't twitch as much as they used to. Like one really big issue I had with Ram last patch was like it was really hard to approach from the air because of 5P. But now it's much harder to like discourage her from just twitch reacting with normals, because you get combos off Capel and stuff. That's pretty nice. Also, you really have to pay attention to meter, because your mix-up selection is going to change a little bit when you have meter, because of you have to worry about a motorboat. Okay. Nagos also kind of feels meh. So like, I always feel like on paper Millia should do well. And when I watch my matches against the character, I always feel like I'm doing well, but like there's always a thought of like, if I'm playing somebody who's the same skill level and I have to be correct like 1 or 2 more times every round, can I really say that's like an even match, you know? Like that's always the reason why I'm always like, isn't it disadvantage, you know? So even though I always feel really good while playing against Nago players, and when I lose, I'm like, oh, it's my fault that I lost, like I made a bad choice. I'm like, well, if I'm playing against Nago players that are my skill level, and I always have to make more correct choices than they do, like I can't really say it's an even match, honestly. But you do have a bunch of good stuff against him. She's much better at whip punishing against him than before. She has unique offensive structures against him. There's even more. Like I found a couple more stuff that will help against Nago some. Probably the actual 2 main things that helps him win against Millia is it's 3 things. 1, he gets combos off all his hits, so he's incentivized to mash a lot. 2, he doesn't die because he has the most effective HP. And 3, in general, he only has to hit you 2 or 3 times to where you have to hit him 4 or 5 times. Kind of pain. The good news is Millia has a ton of good shit against him. Like, if you react to Fukio with 2K and he tries to do back Fukio and doesn't use like a crouching normal, for example, like he does Far Slash, then you're plus, you can whip punish it. She's good against Clone from full screen. She's good against Beyblade. She's very mobile. She gets to play really passive defense. Her defense is pretty good against him, I would say, overall, which is nice. She gets special mix-ups against him. She gets a ton of good stuff against him, but in the end, you still have to hit him like 2 extra times per round compared to him. So I think it's just hard. It really is just hard because of that, honestly. Like if it wasn't for that, like if she did like Ref 2 damage, for example, I think it'd probably just be even, honestly. And Ref 2 especially in current version 2.1, she has a ton of damage. Or if she got to do more damage off looping mix-up, then like it would be better. Okay, but anyway, Geo. So Geo is always one that makes me feel really, really bad. Anytime a Millia player tells me like they feel like this match is even, I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you have to teach me, because and I know too that like it can't be even, honestly. like it's too hard to like, you can't see what she's doing. Like, one of the most valuable things for Millia as a Millia player is your ability to see what the opponent is doing, and you can't see what fucking Geo is doing. That's the hardest part about fighting Geo. And she does a ton of damage. She's not too hard to defend against, but she can explode you, which is pretty bad. And sometimes she has a special defense against Millia, but you can usually just prepare for it. Like, it's not so hard to deal with, so it's fine for the most part. It's a little bit easier to deal with Sweep, but it doesn't change the fact that her dash is just so fucking hard to deal with. It's really, really, really hard to deal with. And they're incentivized on gambling around return, because if she gets a big counter hit with like DP or something, then she's going to do like 60% to you into knockdown or maybe wall break. And then once that happens, it's probably GG. And then I think I have to scroll down, right? I think I got to scroll down. Yeah, you can't see. There's 2 more. So let me shoot. There you go. Okay. So then this probably counterpick just means I feel like either the matchup is shit, or I don't like how the matchup play. Okay, so like I'll do Gold Lewis first. So Gold Lewis is truly actually feels meh, you know? So like it could be a minus 0.5 or like a 6-4 in his favor. The issue is I don't like how the match plays. I think he gets rewarded too much for losing. I just think he's scrubby as fuck, honestly. Like, he gets rewarded way too much for losing. He does so much fucking damage, and he has really good mix-ups, and like you can't kill him. It's like Nago except like scrubbier, basically. And Millia is not good against Millia is good against random drone in neutral, which is nice, but against burst drone, you're basically like boned, right? And then you have to remember too that Millia isn't good at building meter, second lowest HP, worst guard gauge, like all these like bad system things. And Gold Lewis, like, you know, he really is built to attack those things. And then he has a bunch of HP, which makes him hard to kill. And you have to stop them from forcing over and over and over. Generally, the best strategy against Gold Lewis is to try to not engage. But Millia is kind of, if you try to not engage, you're doing like no damage, like, because that means you're using a lot of S-Disc and stuff, or like lots of neutral JS's and stuff to try to fight him. So like probably it could be like a negative 0.5 or like a minus, or like a 4-6. However, I just don't like how the match plays. I don't even like playing as a character in Celestial with any character, honestly, because like half of them are just trying to troll all the time because they're like herder Gold Lewis sticks in, right? Where Leo, I just think it's actually still not a good match, but Millia has better tools for fighting how Leo's used to play against her. So this is why if you see me perform against Leo in the short term, it's because Leo is playing it the old way, and she can fight the old way. But I think long term, it's gonna be like and still gonna be like end of the road matchup. So right now I'm just investing in a counterpick now instead of waiting for a long time. And yeah, and then there's Millia right there, and that's fine. That's all the characters right now. Any questions?